Hi, welcome to Generation Talks. I'm your host, Noelle McAvoy, and this show is a live call-in or come-in talk show geared towards the older generation to just call in or come in and talk about whatever you want to. You can use this show to talk about your history, opinions, stories, anything. I just want this to be an outlet for those to get a voice out and that aren't heard well enough. And today in my studio, we have the lovely Myrt White. And today we're just going to be chatting and hanging out. and then later she's going to play the piano for us. So that's going to be very excited. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming in today.
So fine.
So Myrt, where were you born?
I was born in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Okay.
Which is a province just north of Montana.
Yeah, what year was that?
That was 1936, which makes me 77.
Awesome. Yeah, your birthday's in February,
yes,
right?
it is. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, and you moved to Spokane before Montana, right?
Yes, I did. We were, until I was about 5, I believe. We lived in Spokane, Washington. Then we moved to Helena, Montana. And I went through grade school until I was sophomore in high school, I guess. And then we moved to Butte. So we moved around Montana a little bit.
What grade school did you go to in
Hawthorne.
Helena?
It's called Hawthorne. School. Up
Hawthorne?
in the hill. It was hilly in Helena, and we could walk up a hill to get to school.
Nice. Do you have any siblings?
No, I had a brother, and he has since passed away.
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry. How much, was he older or was he younger?
Yes, he was 5 years older.
5 years older?
Yeah,
Nice, okay.
yeah.
What was his name?
Donald.
Donald. Cool, very nice. And then what was your family like?
Family life, I would call it very normal and very kind of middle class. That we weren't rich, we weren't poor, but we had food on the table at all times. And, parents were mostly working people. You know, my mom worked as a clerk in a department store in Helena when we moved there. Dad was many different things. He worked as a butcher, but he was mainly a salesperson.
Cool.
He liked he got a job with what they called Alber's Milling Company. He put out Carnation Milk, and Alber's Milling was the cereals. He went all over the state of Montana and had this territory. And he'd come in on the weekends because he was a traveling man.
Yeah.
And we'd see him on the weekends.
Yeah. Did you miss him?
Yeah,
I
sure
can
we
imagine
did.
that'd be hard.
It was,
your
yeah, a
dad
little bit. And my brother, I think, as a boy, missed my dad being around a little bit.
Yeah, the most. And how'd your mom take it?
Well, she had to, I guess.
Yeah.
I imagine there was lonely times for her.
Yeah, but
And,
I mean, he had to support the family somehow, you know.
Yeah. They both pitched in and got jobs and worked.
Yeah. And like nowadays, people are working over on the oil fields, so they like leave their wives for like months at a time.
Yes, who was talking about
Unless
that
you
today?
wanna
Somebody in the
move over
manor.
there.
Oh, that was a lady who came in to give me a bath.
Was it?
Yeah, and she had a, I think she told me her son was working in the oil field over in Miles City.
Yeah, they're making good money over there.
Yeah, they
like
are.
I know,
But
in
he was living in the back of a semi truck. She said he was getting very lonely. He didn't like the atmosphere. He wanted to come home, but
yeah. I know in Sydney, Montana, like even like McDonald's, you can make like $10 an hour.
yes,
$10 to
it's
$15
very good
an hour.
wages. Yeah. But there you have to get away from home, I guess, to get over there. It's kind of remote from other people.
Yeah, you have to deal with like loneliness.
Yeah,
and then,
you deal with that a little bit.
Yeah,
Sure.
and if you don't have any, significant other, you gotta
That's right. Yeah.
deal with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. That's
adjustments to all people in all walks of life. It seems like,
Yeah. Did the Depression era have any effect on your parents?
I'm sure it did. Yes, because my parents were running a little grocery store in Canada, and they couldn't make a living, I guess, and nobody could pay their bills.
Really? Even in Canada?
Yeah,
the Depression hit?
Oh yeah, it was up in Canada as well. It was kind of I don't know if it was worldwide, but at least I know the Canadians felt the same. Their crops, for one thing, they had failure of crops.
Oh.
Yeah, and they called it like kind of the dust bowl. Dust blowing around up there in where our little town, prairie towns up there in Canada.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, what year, when did the Depression end? What was that?
Let me think. Well, I think you were mentioning the other day, we saw it ended with the Second World War.
Yeah, because the introduction of
it was
World
going
War
on for quite through the 30s.
Yeah.
They call them the dirty 30s.
Yeah, I remember that.
And people on breadlines, we discussed that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
so
there
it was hard
like,
times, you see, for quite a while. And then the war effort began, and then everybody got some work.
Yeah.
We were building planes and going over to fight the war in Germany and all other places. Yeah.
I guess thank goodness for that.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. If you want to recover your economy in any country, the wars will help.
Yeah, I know.
It seems not really the right way to do it.
I don't understand
Let's
that
not
either.
go to war with everybody to keep the economy running here. You know?
Yeah. helps and hinders, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you kill people, but here's jobs, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a win-lose or whatever
It really is.
situation.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really is.
yeah.
Yeah. What middle school and high school did you attend? In
I didn't have
Helena?
middle school in my day.
Oh,
We
really?
had, we were
What were the
we didn't have
grades?
kindergarten.
Oh,
We
okay.
did have kindergarten. I didn't go to kindergarten, but I went to full 8 grades in Helena, up
Okay.
to the Hawthorne School, and then I went to high school in Butte High for a year and a half. And then my dad got a job in Butte,
Yeah.
and it was a chance for him to get into a business of his own from traveling on the
Oh,
road.
nice. Oh, yeah, because he was a traveling salesman. What business did he get into?
Yeah,
in
well,
Butte?
it was called the Electric and Music Mart. And it had appliances. Dad was a good salesman, and they'd sold, refrigerators and everything, but he also loved the music. And he'd have organs, and he could sell instruments. He could sell almost any instrument. He was a natural musician.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're a musician too.
I kind of inherited that from him. I
Yeah,
did.
what age did you start playing piano?
Piano about 6 or 7. I was just before first grade, I believe, or in the first grade.
So you've been playing piano for 70 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, with
so
a little timeouts now and then here
Yeah.
and there, but I studied voice and piano for quite a few years.
Yeah, yeah, and you sang in a bunch of choirs, right?
Yep, University Chorale, they called it out here on the campus.
Cool, cool.
And church choirs, I was always in church choir, usually most of my time in life.
Yeah.
I was in the Presbyterian choir here in Missoula.
Oh, when did you stop doing that?
I don't remember exactly why I pulled out of that one. No, it was just kind of a natural thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess I was conflicting with the University chorale or something. I
Oh,
don't
really?
remember now. But but I enjoyed the chorale or the church choir. I did
Yeah.
enjoy that, going to the church choirs.
Yeah. Oh, what year did you move to Butte? You were 15.
To Butte, I was in, let's see, 55.
55.
I was in the middle of my sophomore year.
Okay. Okay. Was it hard
No,
leaving?
no, it wasn't. It was earlier than that. It was about 52.
52.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got out of high school in 54.
Okay. Okay. That's
That
the year you
works out,
graduated.
yeah.
Was it hard leaving your friends in
A
Helena?
little bit, yes, it was. My mom was kind of ticked because she had a good job with
Oh,
the
did
Internal
she?
Revenue in Helena. And my daddy said, we're going to pull up stakes. And my brother was already old enough. He was in college.
Oh, was it? Okay.
So he didn't get affected as much
Yeah.
as I did. But my mom always felt a little bitter about having to give up her job and come to Butte. It was
Yeah.
a big adjustment.
Yeah, I would too. And you were 15, like sophomore
That's
year.
right, yeah. And
So
I'd had
could
all
you-
these friends through grade school.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to graduate with them. And but I found that actually, to tell you the truth, the Butte people were very, very open with me. And I had been kind of insulated. Helena's a little bit of an insulated kind of a community.
Is it? Was it pretty conservative?
Yeah,
and
it is.
sheltered?
And Butte's wide open kind
Yeah.
of. And the girlfriends I met were, they were just very open, and
Cool.
they accepted me.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
There was no ostracization because I was from out in another
nice.
city.
Yeah. Were you able to go back to Helena to see your friends a lot?
Oh,
Often?
yeah. I kind of lost track of them because I had graduated from high school in a different
Yeah, I
city.
understand. You'd made different friends, and
Yeah.
yeah, you didn't have email or anything like that. So
That's right.
a little
No.
hard to. No Facebook, so a little
No,
hard to.
no, I should probably get on. I even have a little bit of alienation from my own family. My brother passed away, and I have not seen my sister-in-law or her kid, or the kids that have well grown now. And I feel regretful about that,
Yeah.
because I hear other people demand are talking about their grandkids, and me having never married, I felt a little bit out of place for a
Yeah.
while out there.
Yeah, I
And then I
understand.
thought, well, no, you've had a good life. I've traveled quite a bit, enjoyed
You've been
that.
an independent woman
I have,
your whole
one of
life.
those people. I guess.
That's
I
inspiring.
worked with the Forest Service, and one guy told me once, he said, you are what my children would call independent.
And you're like, yeah, I am.
I guess I am, because I would go off on myself. It never bothered me to, like if we were having breakfast in Helena, we were over there for a meeting of some kind, and I was up and about, and I took off and looked around Helena and went to breakfast on my own. And
Yeah.
I was one of those kind of people.
Yeah,
I was
why-
used to looking out for me and
Yeah,
and
and yourself, and that's
Yeah.
important.
Oh,
that's
I
very
guess
important.
it is. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I never was never was dependent, on anybody particularly, but.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So when you moved to Butte, were there still effects seen from the Anaconda Mining Company?
Oh yeah, well my
Because
dad.
that was huge. I know that.
Yes. Well, yeah, they were closing. Well, they had strikes. you
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
That's
the-
what you're talking about. And and my dad was affected greatly because he was running a store, and they couldn't pay their bills. Same as it
really?
was when he was a younger man in Canada. I mean, it was the same kind of a situation in a way. Yeah, and but Dad I guess he gave up that story. He did. He had electric music mart, and he had to go back on the road and become a salesman again. So that was a transition again. Yeah,
But that was.
Yeah.
Were they stopping anaconda mining?
Yeah, I believe it was
was it-
curtailed a little bit. I know what happened. I think I'm trying to remember my history a little bit, but there was copper mining going on in other countries. There was competition.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, and so they didn't have the full bore of miners going down in the mines in Butte, I think.
I read this book in Montana history class too, that it was about a huge fire that happened in the mine.
Yes, I've
And
heard
a
of that
bunch
too.
of guys died down there.
Yes, there's been
and were
tragedies,
trapped.
and everything. And we lived on the hill when we first moved to Butte, what they called the hill. And you'd hear those sirens day and night, and people were always geared up. Was my husband down in there? People were always on the. They were worried about their people that were working in the mines. It's dangerous.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
dangerous work.
Yeah, that's really dangerous. Yeah. So, let's see. What did you do after high school?
After high school, I decided to go to work. And I went with a lawyer. I was hired by a lawyer in Butte, and I worked for him for about a year. And then I thought, I'll go back to school.
Yeah.
So my classmates had already gone down to Dillon, Montana. So I was 1 year older than them, but I got down there and started school in Dillon in 56. 55 to 56. Graduated in 54 high school, and then I went down for 1 year in 55 to 6. And I decided I didn't really want to be a student again. So I'd gotten spoiled by having an income and working.
Yeah.
And so I came back to Butte. Then I think my history was I got it with the telephone company, took a job with them.
Oh yeah, what'd you do with them?
It was in what they call the directory department, and you looked at listings. It was kind of monotonous work in a way. ABTs or CBTs, I remember those, alphabetical bold types or classical bold types. When people wanted, they could buy, either one. And we'd check up the little ads, little quarter column ads. It was putting together the directories.
Okay, so you basically put together phone books. That's cool. And then were they like the phone books nowadays, or were they just like?
Well, I think
the yellow
so. Yeah, I think
pages?
it's basically the same setup. I believe they have big ads and smaller ads. And you have to have
Numbers,
classifieds. They have to have support to buy, to get the money for advertising.
Yeah. When did you start singing, or did that just come with playing the piano?
I think I was a little girl in Canada, and I sang Little Sureco. Nobody will remember that but me. And a barbershop. And if you want to know the actual time, I think it was about 3 or 4. Yeah, and I stood up and they applauded, and I thought,
cute.
great,
I'll just do this forever.
I guess I can sing a little, and then I've been a singer most of my life, and I was in a play down in Dillon, and it was a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta, and I had the lead, so I sang that.
An operetta?
An operetta.
Okay, is that like a musical?
Well, they're light opera. Yeah, they're not opera, but they're called operettas. And Gilbert and Sullivan were famous English writers, and they wrote a lot of them. Then the one I was in was called Ruddy Gore, funny name, and they're comical. They're not heavy opera, so you don't have to have a big voice or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was studying voice, so I didn't have much competition down in Little Dillon, so I got the lead. And
is that what you were studying in college?
yes, I was taking general courses with the idea that I was going to become a teacher, because they had in that day and age in 55 and 6, you could get a 2-year teaching degree down there. How we doing?
No, we're good. Yeah.
You could get one if you had a 2-year to take the courses, and I took English and what else? Biology.
Yeah.
And I flunked biology, I remember, and I thought, no, I'm going to go back to working. Yeah. So I stayed there a year, was all, and it was a good experience.
That's okay.
A little town, it was quite a little
schooling is
town.
hard. Schooling and college is so intense.
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh.
My brother, as I say, went to the big school here in Missoula, and I knew I didn't want to come to Missoula and go to school. Yeah, so I picked out Dillon because it was close to Butte and everything,
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. When did you move to New York City?
Okay, that would be 60. I remember that very vividly. My girlfriend that I met in college, she was in the same play. She came back from her school in the eastern part of the world, in Eastman School of Music, and she'd gotten a degree, and she wanted to go back to the big city and see what she could do about getting into something, opera or something. Yeah, because she was going to pursue a career of some kind. So she wanted somebody to go with her because we were not that brave.
Yeah.
And so we met in New York City. She came in from her school up north in Ithaca, they call it, Cornell University.
Did you fly or did you drive?
I took a train.
Oh, you took a train.
I took cross country through Chicago and all the way
Fun.
down.
Did you leave from Glacier?
No, there was a train right from Butte. I believe I got on a train in Butte in that day and age.
Yeah, they did have trains
yeah,
from Butte.
Yeah, no, we didn't have to go up the High Line, as they call it here now, to get a train. There was east-west in traffic and trains.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I mean, it was an interesting train ride.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so now what I want to talk about is you were an independent woman for like 40-something years, on your own, living in an apartment downtown. What was that transition like to like losing your license in your car to going into a home?
Yeah, it was a little bit of hell. I can tell you that. No, I was a very disoriented, unhappy gal out there for a while in the manor, and it showed because they knew I was not a happy person. And a couple of the ladies, the first year I was there, I've been there a year and a half, and one of the ladies that runs it, she said, "We knew you were unhappy, and we hope you're going to get better." And you know, they're concerned about people that are not blending in or having a good time out there. They're very considerate and caring. They're caring people out there.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, Myrt had an accident where she fell and broke her fractured her pelvis. So from being an independent woman and then to fracturing your pelvis and having to be like,
dependent on
strapped
others
down.
particularly. Yeah, that's right.
It must be very hard. Yeah, and so did you feel like your rights were being taken away?
Yeah, because when my
like-
license was taken, I did. Well, there goes my identity. And I could have gone and taken the test, and I didn't. And for some reason or another, I was intimidated by the computer out there. And a gentleman took me out there to Hamilton. I went out to take the test again, and I didn't pass. And so I thought, well, maybe that's inevitable. And I finally sold my car, or the gal at the manor sold it for me over the computer, and I got my money out of some of it anyway. And so I was probably thinking I probably was better off not driving because I didn't hurt anybody, you see.
Yeah.
But I was past the age maybe where I was supposed to be on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was probably somebody's will up there to say, let's get her off the road.
I know, that's too bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of us older people, we hang on too long driving, you see, and we're not that quick anymore.
Yeah, well, that's like a huge privilege, to like
Well, it
learn
is
how to
driving.
drive, get your license.
You're talking about that. You're learning, you see, and I learned on a stick shift too.
I just got a stick shift, and it's very hard.
It's all, it takes concentration, and you do lose a little as you get older. I was not as, aware of what was going on around me a little bit. That's why I had those couple of little accidents.
Yeah.
And they made me take the test, you see, again.
Yeah, and you can.
That's to save everybody else from drivers of my age or that are not right capable of driving, you see.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can admit that. I know there are a lot of older people that just like can't.
We had a gentleman there. He was a newcomer in there a while back when I first got in. They had a welcome lunch for the newcomers, and he got up and ranted and raved. "They've taken my car. I've been driving for 92 years." And we all felt sorry for him, of course. But
that's
he'd been
one of
on
your
a farm or
rights taken
something, and he had tractors and everything else he could drive.
Oh yeah, I bet he was driving at the age of like 6.
He was probably one of those early drivers.
Yeah.
And then to take it all away,
Yep.
It's a big adjustment,
I know. I know, definitely. Yeah. Well, tonight, Myrt is going to play the piano for us. So do you want to play the piano?
I'll be
Go over and
happy
play
to.
a song for us?
Yes,
Okay.
I will.
That'd be great.
All right, I'll hop over there.
Okay. You want to hold on to me?
No, I think I'm going to make it. I hop up with that pelvis. I'm a little careful, but I'll get over there. I'll be there in a minute. Okay, I'm going to play a thing called Forgotten Dreams. It was written by Leroy Anderson.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Here we go. I'm sorry to hear it going. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful, yes. That was wonderful.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to ask you one more question
Sure.
is, how do you like living in the manor? Do you feel like
I
that
do
you
now. I didn't
adjusted well?
I'm quite withdrawn,
Yeah.
and I have what they call, frankly admit, I have a disease called bipolar disease, and I was in one of the down periods
Yeah.
when I got in there, and it took me quite a while getting back on my medication. I would recommend anybody that's taken something for a disease such as bipolar.
Yeah.
You got to keep on your medication.
Yeah.
And I had kind of let them lapse, and I know that's what happened. And then I had a heart pacemaker replaced in September of this year, and that brought me around because I'd had that in there for 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was just kind of, and they did notice right away.
Yeah.
I've had many people come to me in the manor and say, we saw you come in with your head down, and you were very, very depressed, and we wanted to know what to do, and they were concerned.
Yeah.
And, then they speak to me all the time. They've always called me Myrt ever since I got in the door. Yeah,
Good.
and that does make a difference. That people would,
Call you by your first
Call
name
me.
instead of
Talking to
Mrs. White or Ms.
yeah,
White
I
or
got that all my life.
Yeah.
Mrs. White, would you like?
Yeah, and you're
No,
like,
I'm not a Mrs.
no.
White. Remember when Ms. was popular? That
Yeah.
we had to substitute for Mrs.
Yep,
Ms.?
yep. I always call everyone Miss. Yeah.
I didn't mind Ms., but I didn't like Mrs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for
You are
being here
welcome.
tonight,
Yes,
Myrt.
no,
And,
it was very
yeah.
pleasurable for me. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
thank
It
you.
was
I would
all
love to
talk,
have you.
so-
Yeah, I would love to have you on my show again,
I would love to.
eventually.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I
Yeah.
agree very well with this. It's a very good idea. I think it's well deserved for other people.
Yeah, I just want to give this show, an outlet to the older people to talk about whatever you want, get stuff off your mind, get stuff off your chest, get out into the community and just give your message.
Yes, yes. Oh, they were so proud that I was going up there.
Yeah.
The people at the manor. They
Yeah,
said,
I think that it's very important. I think it's very important. And you guys, I don't know, you're
There's a lot of history. It's in
yeah, and you're put in that home, and I just,
Yeah, my
sometimes
little room, it
people
was small,
forget.
and all my belongings were somewhere else and everything. Yeah.
I know, you didn't get to bring your piano with you.
No, that was the biggest wrench. Was the
Yeah.
piano.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning into Generation Talks. I'm your host, Noelle McAvoy, and as you all know, that this is a live talk show geared towards the older generation, and I won't age discriminate. So if you really want to call in and talk, then you definitely can. Yeah, but thanks for tuning in, and my next episode is January 7th. So I'm Noelle McAvoy, and this is Generation Talks, and I'll see you all back here on January 7th. Thank you.
Bye.